Hey everybody, today I want to talk about something that I consider to be very important and that I don't think gets talked about enough, and that is dealing with anxiety and stress and stage fright and all the things that might come along with having a gig or a career in music. Over the course of my life, I have dealt with a good deal of social anxiety, which I realize is ironic given my chosen profession. However, this doesn't change the fact that I have felt a pull since I was a very young child to be on stage and to perform and to make music and to express myself. I hold the personal belief that all artists are trying to fill a hole or a void of some sort in their psyche. And I don't believe that this is something that will ever be filled, which in turn can make for some very good art and some very intense performances. Now, I've been a professional musician for the better part of 30 plus years now. At this point in my career, you would think that I would be well past getting nervous or getting jitters on stage, but that is not the case. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that getting nervous before a show means you care about the performance that you're about to give. I need to tell the story about something that happened to me recently that shifted my entire perspective and has probably made me a much more consistent and a better player on a daily basis or whenever I have gigs. I was doing a show recently with an artist that I've been working with named Amanda Ray, and aside from the cover songs that we do, we also do a good portion of her original material. And being an original artist myself, I place a very high importance on playing things properly when it comes to people's original material. It would mean the world to me for someone to do that where my original material is concerned, and so I try to put that foot forward with everybody that I work with. The problem I was running into at most gigs was if I made one mistake, I would get so in my own head about that mistake that would spiral into another mistake and another mistake and another mistake. And before I knew it, I'd had 3 bad sets of mistake after mistake because I just couldn't get over that first little clam note that I hit in the first song. Sounds ridiculous, right? But that's the way my brain operates, and I realized that. And on the first break on that gig, I must have been looking a little bit distraught. And the drummer that we were playing with on that particular day is a person named Heather Thomas, who, aside from being a good friend of mine, is a singular singer-songwriter. She doesn't sound like anyone else but her, which is incredibly hard to do. She's also an incredibly accomplished drummer, and she's had a bunch of little wisdom nuggets since I've met her, so I immediately opened up to her about this problem I was having with making a mistake and letting it get to me and getting in my head about it. And she quietly motioned to me and said, "Walk with me." So we walked outside of the club, and she gave me this piece of advice, which has changed everything for me. And I'm not sure whether she even knows that she's done this at this point. So I'm going to tell you the story. Now, this is about as hippy-dippy or earthy as you're ever going to get on this channel, but these concepts have worked for me. Take this advice or leave it. I'm putting this forward in the hopes that it will reach some of you and maybe help some of you overcome your stage fright or your anxiety. I have worked very hard in my recent life to exercise the concept of being present, which is to say, tomorrow, you don't know what's going to happen, and yesterday is gone. All we have is the given moment. And I have found that being present, or trying to be present, and this is something that we all as human beings in the society that we live in at the moment, and in the world that we live in at the moment, have to actually practice. It is a practice. It is something you have to come to each and every day, because we are bombarded daily just by opening our phones with more information than I am convinced that the human brain is meant to retain or experience in one sitting. And so you have to come to being present. You have to go to it. You have to practice it. You have to consciously tell yourself to slow down and to think about just now, because that's really all we have. The other concept that I've worked very hard to integrate in my daily life is gratitude. Be grateful for the things that you have, because there is always someone else less fortunate. And that is also a practice. And it started for me with small things. It could be I'm grateful for the fact that I have lunch today, that I have a roof over my head, that I'm grateful for the fact that I own many nice guitars. I'm grateful for the fact that I am a talented person. I'm grateful for the fact that I'm able to do what I'm doing right now. And you will find that if you wake up and you find 3 things that you are grateful for, 3 little things, they can be minute, they can be very, very small things. If you practice this daily, in my experience, you will start to realize that this gratitude actually takes hold and manifests itself in your life. And after a while, you won't need to wake up and say, I need to think of 3 things that I'm grateful for. Those things will just pop into your head. And it's made all the difference in my life. It has made me a happier person. It has made me a more fulfilled person. So, the concepts of presence and gratitude. Now, Heather was able to distill this down to a micro level for me on the day that I was telling her that I was getting in my head about mistakes and all that kind of thing. And she said, when you make a mistake on stage, it is already a microsecond in the past. And so if you are worried about that mistake that you just made, it's gone. You can't change it. Now, I was living a microsecond in the past, if you can believe that. And once she said that, it was like the world opened up and I was able to really not worry about those little mistakes that I made. And surprise, surprise, I've made far fewer mistakes on gigs since then. And I've been able to let go and loosen up and not be as worried about making those mistakes. And this goes for singers, bassists, guitar players, all music, all musicians, because we all get in our own heads. Now, some people are gifted with an inordinate amount of confidence and an inordinate amount of prowess and ability on their instruments, but that's not all of us. And musicians are much like athletes in that way. We have to get our bodies right, but we also have to get our minds right. And so this concept of being incredibly present down to the microsecond has changed everything for me. And as a result, I think I'm playing better now than possibly that I ever have in my entire life. And it was all thanks to just this little nugget of wisdom that my friend Heather Thomas gave me on that day. Now, I will link to Heather's music in the description below, and I will also link to her YouTube page. She's incredible. You should go check her out. Hopefully some of these concepts have resonated with you, and hopefully this has allowed you a glimpse into what your possible future might look like. If this did resonate with you and you did get something out of what I'm saying here, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel. It's the only thing that's going to keep this kind of content moving forward for me. Please tell some friends, please share it, and more music related stuff to come in the future here. But I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.